The psychology of haunted houses. Everything you need to know. Cold open. You're in a house. It's quiet. Too quiet. The floor creaks. The door shifts slightly. You feel watched. Your brain goes, "Yep, ghost." Not old wood expanding, not air pressure change, not I haven't slept well. Nope, demon roommate. Here's the thing. Haunted house experiences are incredibly common. People across cultures report footsteps, shadows, whispers, cold spots, objects moving, and most of the time, there's a psychological and environmental explanation. Today, we're breaking down exactly how haunted house experiences work, from perception glitches to suggestion to why your brain is basically a horror movie director with zero chill. Let's get into it. The brain hates uncertainty. Your brain's #1 job is survival, not accuracy, survival. If something is ambiguous, unclear shape, unclear sound, unclear movement, your brain fills in the blanks fast, and it fills them in with threat. Because evolution rewarded false positives over false negatives. If your ancestor thought a shadow was a predator and ran, embarrassing, but alive. If he thought, probably nothing, and it was a predator, he didn't pass on his genes. So your brain is biased towards seeing danger in uncertainty. Dark hallway? Threat. Unfamiliar noise at night? Threat. House settling? Ghost. Cool. Moving on. Pareidolia. This is the tendency to see meaningful patterns in random stuff. Faces in clouds, Jesus in toast, a demon in your closet. Low light makes it worse. Your visual system gets noisy, details blur, your brain fills in the rest. That coat hanging on a chair? In dim light, it becomes a tall figure. That random shadow? Congratulations, it now has shoulders. Your brain would rather hallucinate something structured than accept, I don't know. And haunted houses are full of visual ambiguity. Old wallpaper patterns, wood grain, cracks in the ceiling. Give your brain enough randomness, and it'll cast a ghost for you. Next, sleep paralysis. This one's wild. Sleep paralysis happens when your body is still in REM sleep mode, muscles temporarily turned off, but your brain wakes up. You can't move, you can't speak, you feel pressure on your chest, and your brain, still half dreaming, projects imagery into the room. Shadow figures are extremely common. A presence, someone standing near the bed. It feels real because you are partially dreaming while awake. Throughout history, this experience became demons sitting on your chest, witches visiting at night, shadow people. Different cultures, same biology. And if someone experiences this repeatedly in a specific house, guess what that house becomes known for? Haunted. Infrasound. Now we get physical. Infrasound is very low-frequency sound, below which you can consciously hear. Some old buildings produce it through ventilation systems, wind in long hallways, large empty spaces, even traffic rumble. Research has shown that certain low-frequency vibrations can cause unease, anxiety, chills, a sense of presence. You don't hear it, you just feel wrong. Like when your car has a weird vibration and you don't know why you're uncomfortable. Your body reacts before your brain understands. So you're in an old house, you feel dread. Nothing visible is happening. Your brain goes, spirit energy. Or it's physics. Okay, carbon monoxide. This one's serious. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas produced by faulty heaters, furnaces, or fireplaces. Exposure can cause headaches, confusion, visual disturbances, auditory hallucinations.
There are documented cases where people believed their house was haunted, seeing shadows, hearing footsteps, and it turned out to be carbon monoxide exposure, which is terrifying in a different way. If you feel dizzy or confused in a house, check the detector before calling a priest. Important note: always take physical safety seriously. Environmental causes are real. All right, expectation effect. If I tell you a house is haunted before you walk in, your perception changes. This is called expectation bias. Your brain filters sensory input through what it expects. If you expect ghosts, ambiguous events become ghostly. Classic example. You're in your apartment, you hear a knock at 2 a.m. You think, neighbor. You're in an abandoned Victorian house someone told you has a tragic backstory. You hear the same knock, you think, it begins. Same sound, different interpretation. Your beliefs frame your experience. Next, social contagion. Fear spreads socially. If one person in a group says, "Did you hear that?" Now everyone is on high alert. Attention amplifies perception. Group ghost hunts are perfect for this. One person sees movement, another confirms it. Now the whole group feels something. Memory also shifts after discussion. People unintentionally align their stories. This doesn't mean people are lying. It means human memory is reconstructive. We rebuild events each time we recall them. So haunted house stories evolve over retellings and get scarier, naturally. The power of story. Haunted houses almost always have lore, a tragic death, a mysterious disappearance, a dark history. Narrative increases emotional intensity. If you walk into a random empty building, it's just dusty. If you walk into the room where someone died under mysterious circumstances, your stress response spikes, your heart rate increases, your senses sharpen, your brain interprets more as threat. Story primes your brain. This is why horror movies spend time building backstory before anything happens. Your imagination does half the work. Isolation. Silence is loud. When you're alone in a quiet space, your brain turns inward. Internal sounds become noticeable. Your heartbeat, your breathing, the faint ringing in your ears. Small external noises become magnified. In modern life, we rarely sit in true silence. We have constant noise, fans, traffic, phones, notifications. Old houses are different, especially at night. You notice everything, and your brain hates unexplained stimuli, so it explains them badly. The agency detector. Humans are wired to detect agency, meaning intentional action by something alive. If something moves, we assume something caused it. Wind moves a door slightly, brain, someone opened it. Object falls from shelf, brain, it was pushed. Agency detection helped us survive social and predator threats, but it also makes random events feel intentional, and ghosts, by definition, are intentional agents. So random physical events get upgraded to "someone did this," even if that someone doesn't exist. Okay, memory is not a camera. When people say, "I saw it clearly," that doesn't mean the memory is accurate. Memory is reconstructed, not replayed. Over time, details shift. Emotion intensifies recall. Suggestion alters detail. If you revisit a story many times, it becomes smoother, more cinematic. Your brain fills gaps without you noticing. This is normal human cognition, not deception. But it means haunted house stories often grow sharper and more dramatic with time. Why it feels so real. Here's the key point. Fear changes perception. When you're anxious, your sensory thresholds shift. You become hypervigilant. You detect smaller stimuli. You interpret ambiguity as threat. Physiologically, your body is in fight or flight mode. Adrenaline increases, heart rate rises, muscles tense. Your brain goes into pattern detection overdrive, and everything feels meaningful. That's why haunted experiences feel intensely real to the person having them, because in that moment, their nervous system is fully engaged. Not fake, just amplified. Modern version. Now let's bring it to today. You're binge-watching horror at 1:30 a.m. Lights off, headphones on. You pause the show. Silence hits. Suddenly, your apartment feels different. Every small sound becomes suspicious. You check your hallway. Nothing. But your body stays tense. You primed your brain with threat. Your environment supplied ambiguity. Your nervous system did the rest. That's haunted house psychology in action, without the haunted house. Why we love it? Here's the twist. We seek this feeling voluntarily. Haunted houses, horror movies, ghost tours. Why?